how is everyone doing out there? And no, I'm not doing late night snacks or weekend wrap up. I'm doing something a little different um, for tonight. Well, it did weekend wrap up this morning and late night snacks last night. So tonight, as you may know, today, February 4th, is World Cancer Awareness Day. So hold on. So it's Cancer Awareness Day because, well, all of us want to spread the word that we want to put an end to cancer for good. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I lost one of my two favorite and special people in my life to cancer. That's right, my father. My father, back in New Year's Eve 2016, when we ring in 2017, my dad had a stroke, and we had to call 911 to check on him, and then he was checked into Morristown Hospital, Chilton. First he checked into Chilton Memorial Hospital, and then he had to be transported via helicopter to Overlook Hospital over in a town called Summit. I'm not sure what town Summit is in. I think it's either in Morris County, Passaic County, or Essex County. So, and then 2017 began, and it turns out that my father sadly was diagnosed with lung cancer. Because since my dad was in high school back in the early 1970s, he has been a smoker ever since he was all the way back in high school. Yeah, well, because I never smoke because smoking causes heart disease, cancer, and all the terrible things to your body. And my dad ever since he was back in high school up until his cancer diagnosis, he was a smoker. My dad was a smoker. It sucks. It really fucking sucks that my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer back in 2017. My dad had this stroke back in December 2016. He wasn't diagnosed just days later. And then me and my mom would take rides down to Overlook Hospital to see how my father is doing. And when he was diagnosed with lung cancer, he was forced to quit smoking for good. It was very hard for him to do because, my dad was a smoker. And smoking is a very, very bad habit. And I used to drink alcohol too, but I can't right now because it will affect my medication. And I could end up in the hospital, just like my dad did when he was first diagnosed with cancer. Every once in a while, me and my mom would check to see how my dad is doing. And then we brought him home, and he was forced to miss work for several months after he was diagnosed with lung cancer. And then we had to take him down to do chemotherapy, and also he did lab tests. He also he did physical therapy as well, and X-rays, and he also did a stress test where he had to walk on a treadmill, and to see if he has heart disease. It's been tough. It really has been tough because I've been going through so much, and my father getting diagnosed with lung cancer was one of the hardest things I've ever went through in my life. My dad was like my best friend. He really was like my best friend. And later that year, it was the summer, and my dad wanted to get back to his routines. So, and they had to remove the lung that had his lung that had the cancer in. So he had to undergo surgery to have his lung removed. So, and it's been tough, but for the rest of his life, he had to have one lung, and he was forced to quit smoking for good. It was a hard thing for him to do, but it was for the best. And then after my dad had the lung which had the cancer in it removed, he was cancer free for a couple months because he went back to work. He was living his life like he did before he had the cancer, lung cancer. But then, back in February 2018, just 14 months after, nearly 14 months after my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer, he collapsed in my parents' bedroom. He collapsed when he was taking a nap. He had a seizure, and I had to call 911. I was just scared because my dad was cancer free, and then this shit happened. And it turned out the cancer went from his lung into his brain. So it was tough. So, and my dad was forced to miss work once again. So, and he had to go through I think he had to do chemotherapy once again. So it was tough for my dad. He was a fighter. He won the first time that he was diagnosed with cancer, but after the second time he was diagnosed, not this time. Because the second time my dad was diagnosed with cancer, it was tough because he had brain cancer this time. The lung cancer went into his brain. He was cancer free until it went into his brain. So, just can't stop thinking about my dad getting diagnosed with cancer. It's tough. I mean, my dad getting diagnosed with cancer twice. For the first time in December 2016, New Year's Eve 2016, 2017, and then February 2018. Just nearly 14 months after he was cancer free. So, it was tough. And then, sadly, my dad had a stroke, another seizure, and then he was admitted to the hospital for the final time. And sadly, that was it for him. He succumbed on May 16, 2018 to lung cancer, which went into his brain. So, just 4 years before my mom went. It's been tough, but since today's World Cancer Awareness Day, we would all like to spread the word to put any type of cancer to an end, put an end to any type of cancer for good. Because cancer killed my father. Losing my father was like losing a leg. It really was. And losing my mom while she had a heart attack was losing another leg. It's been tough, but my mom was a fighter. My dad was a fighter. Both of them fought till the very end, but lost. Both of them did. That is why we want that have loved ones that were diagnosed and passed away from cancer. We would like to spread the word to have a moment of silence for those who were diagnosed and had passed away from cancer. And that is why I made this live stream to tell everyone that spread the awareness of World Cancer Awareness Day. Because I lost my father to cancer. It's tough. So let us all put an end to cancer for good. Let's do it together.